Hiya guys, it's Spectre here. Welcome back to some more Total Warhammer 3. This is a guide video, and this is the best faction for new players. Hands down. Before this guy came out, I would have said it was Beastmen. Because Beastmen, you don't need the Herdstones to stay alive, to avoid taking global attrition. And you can just go off somewhere and hide in your hidden encampment stance. Now yes, an army could walk into it and it triggers an ambush, or heroes, if there's enough heroes in the region, they can reveal your army and pop you out. And if it's during the end turn, obviously you could be attacked. So Beastmen aren't quite as secure as this guy, but they are the next best thing after this guy to avoid getting wiped out. With this guy, with the Changeling, you cannot be beaten, pretty much, from what I've seen. So example is here, I'm on turn 41, so it's fairly early in the campaign. It's not hard at all. I've just begun building my end game army, because I built a trickster cult under this at the start of the campaign. I moved here, and then I got rid of all my units apart from the cockatrice. So I wanted to keep those because they're actually quite good. I like building full melee armies, and Zinch with barrier can actually make better melee armies than you'd think he could. To give him credit, he does a really good job on it. In terms of how he works, you only get 4 buildings you can build under each province. So a city's not going to give you more buildings than a town. You're going to get the same amount. 2 buildings you want in every settlement. This is symbiotic, not parasitic. Is you want this one that gives you control, grimoires and cult supplies, and then it lowers your discoverability. This one gives you income from all buildings plus 10% local region owner, so it actually makes your enemies stronger. If it's an enemy that controls the settlement, if it's an ally, it can also benefit an ally, which we've been using to a fun effect at the moment in co-op, in a co-op campaign. You can make your allies earn some disgusting money. But when you get it maxed out to the top, you basically get the same income as the settlement. So here you've got 315, I'm getting 315. Where's the other big one? This one here. This is 1182, 1182. Because I've got it maxed out, I'm getting the same money as the settlement is making. And I'm boosting theirs by 50%. So they're getting 50% more than they would normally. So you can earn some ridiculous money. So he's not a sacking faction, plus as I found out the other day, there must be a bug. You can't sack anyway, even though he has sacking on both his trait and on one of his schemes as a reward. You get 25% more for sacking, but you can't sack. You can either make it a symbiotic cult, a parasitic cult, or you can raise it. So I don't know why they've got that in there, it's kind of weird. So these are all your symbiotic buildings, these are your parasitic ones. The main difference between these two is that symbiotic basically benefit the region and will generally keep you under the radar apart from this one here. And these ones will generally do more harm to the region. So they lower their income, that lowers the control, so more chance of rebellion. That just gives you more chance of getting trickster cults. But they give you more chance of risking getting discovery. Now you could combine some of these. I was thinking of building this one with then some of these to lower the discoverability down. But this one's actually better by quite a lot. Because the other day what happened with one of mine is I got something happened in Cafe, probably from Village, and Village got enough corruption in the province to unlock one of these. So you get to choose any one that you wanted. So I chose one on Orthwan. So then what I did is I got a trickster over on Orthwan, brought him down and made a trickster cult under Lothern. I then built up the buildings, boosted Lothern's income by 50%, and I was getting 5,000 income from Lothern alone. So I was getting some ridiculous money. So you can make big bank with this guy really quickly, and because you don't need growth either, it's pretty fucking good. But getting on to how this is really good for newer players. So this emblem basically tells you you've got a trickster cult in the area. when you've got this symbol over your head here, your armies are hidden. You're not in ambush stance, your armies are just hidden normally. You can be in any stance you want, but your armies are hidden. As long as you're in the region where you have a trickster cult, your armies are invisible, so the enemy doesn't come looking for you. Obviously, it's probably not a good idea to stand on the main roads, so try and stand off to the side somewhere where armies won't generally travel, so they don't walk into you. If they do walk into you, it will trigger a battle. But if they do kill you, as long as you've got at least one trickster cult, you can recruit another lord, or wait until your main guy comes back and rebuild an army and start over again. And because these depend upon this here, the discoverability, as you see on mine, at the bottom in white it says -20. That one says -40, and that one says -40. So they'd have to actually get in total 140 discoverability to detect that cult building. And that is not going to happen. Because even if they have detection buildings on there, they need an absurd amount of heroes in the region to get that level of detection. So it's not going to happen. So this campaign, if it stays as it is impossible for you to lose pretty much as a player. And this is in Legendary and very hard battle. Because I'm just playing this as my own on the side. Because I'm going to be doing a playthrough of the Trickster soon anyway. So I don't want to complete this. I want to basically leave this campaign here. After this recording, I'll probably delete it, just so I can play through it in my own time. Now, with the Trickster in question, there are... Technically, there's like 2 ways to play him, but there's 4 ways technically in total how you can do it, or 3. So 1, you can build all symbiotic. You've got your military buildings here. Realistically, you don't need this one, because your cultists are crap, they don't get replenishment, and the spellcasters, they've got no melee tree. Unless you want loads of change, you don't really need this building, basically. You don't really need it. And Gleam Magic is kind of wank as well, so you don't need that either. These are your scouts. In fact, to be fair, everything's a scout. The only time you'll have a hero in your army, like I've got here, is if you are going to go down the middle tree. And this is if you're going to basically try and make him a melee monster and buff him into combat. I've got Village as my one that I can turn into, because you do get one gifted to you by Zinch. Now you can get lucky, like I did in my co-op campaign. I got Kugath Plaguefather. If you get one of the ones that have a Mortis Engine effect, so Kugath, Festus, Morgor, any of the ones that have like a built-in Mortis Engine effect, you can use them to a great effect and play those basically as like a melee type lord, and then have somebody else as your spellcaster. If you're not going to play him as a melee lord, then you play him as a spellcaster as you would do other lords. So you'd level up this tree and you'd ignore this tree entirely. If you're going to do that though, you don't need to change his form. You're just going to keep him as he is. But one of the things that you can do that can shell up well with a melee army is on the very end, if you get this, you get Vanguard for your entire army. So you can deploy closer to your enemy. You combine that with his normal tree here, you can also get Stalk. So your entire army can be Vanguard and Stalk. And 2 of the good armies that I've built, that I've gone through, that really good synergy. So you start off really with your Chaos Warriors. You've got Chaos Warriors and then Chaos Warriors with Halberds. They're the 2 that you want. You're going to want a couple of these because of the shields. The rest can be your Halberds because they're anti-large. So probably like 6 of those, 2 of those. And then you can upgrade them to Chosen later on. You can then mix and match the second part of your army. So like in one of my armies I took 2 of these. 2 of the Mutalith Vortex Beasts, because they do have the Mortis Engine effect. And then I took 7 Chaos Spawn. Because Chaos Spawn are anti-infantry. They complement the Halberdiers. So you've got anti-large and anti-infantry in one army. If you don't want Chaos Spawn, you can take Chaos Knights, who are also anti-infantry. Just they're extremely well armoured compared to the Spawn. The reason I take Spawn in this army is because he's also got a nice buff called Void Wrangler. That gives you Spawn more speed, weapon strength, and a 500 bigger barrier to both Spawn and Mutalith Vortex Beasts. I don't take Forsaken, they're not that good, but the Spawn, at the moment, I've got a 1000 barrier, with that tech upgrade, well, that skill upgrade on him, you get a 1,500 barrier on Tzeentch spawn. And bear in mind, they've got armor sundering and magical attacks, so they are nasty. They can do some real damage. And they can take damage as well because of their shield, their ability to absorb it. So there's two really good combos you can use that will work in any difficulty, and they can be quite brilliant. So you can tailor what symbols you need. Like, I don't build anything from this tree, anything from here, and I don't build most of this. I just build it for that. And if you want to mix and match your flyers as well, like I said, these are quite good, the cockatrice, but you can build the cockatrice if you want to do the spawn army and have like a monster themed army. You've got cockatrice, mutilith, spawn, and then with some chaos warriors for your infantry. So you've not got all monsters. But then if you want to go the cavalry route with cavalry, chaos warriors, and obviously eventually chosen, you could also take 2 doom knights instead. So you could take some doom knights up there, or you could mix and match, take a doom knight and a cockatrice. You've got a little bit of variety, but they're all good melee units. They've all got barrier. They're all strong units. They're really effective. If you go parasitic, I think you can be a bit more chaotic, but you can play that way, and I intend to play that way at some point as well myself. But for your first playthrough, it's definitely easier to play symbiotic, and you can make a lot of money really, really easy with this guy. It is really, really good. One thing to be careful of is though, because when you take this on turn 1, I think it's turn 2 or 3, a Beastman army spawns here. It will attack and destroy this town. Now, it doesn't destroy your cult. Your cults can't be destroyed by the towns being raised, which is actually quite good. Because to be fair, if they were being destroyed by everything else, you probably could be destroyed really, really easily by just like another aggressive faction fucking you over. Even if it's an ally could inadvertently kill you off by wiping out your trickster cults. If you are in a region where the town is raised, you are not invisible, even though you have a trickster cult. There has to be a town, at least in the repairing phase, for you to be invisible. So just bear that in mind. Because when I was stood here, after this got destroyed, I noticed this had vanished. And there was an army coming at me because it could see me. And I'd only got my lord and 1 unit, the cockatrice. So then I moved here, and then they backed off and lost interest. So be careful of that. And also, obviously, when you move out of any of your territory into somewhere, you can be seen until you launch the attack. So they're the only times you are really vulnerable. But even then, you can't be wiped out as long as you've got these. And like what I've done is I've expanded this. These have all been expanded by this building. This building is 2% chance per turn. It's incredibly effective. You don't really need to upgrade it. This is just for the 2%. And the 2%, I put it there. It's expanded there, there, and there. And to Nuln. I think I put one in Flensburg, did I originally? Yeah, this one I did upgrade. And that one upgraded and expanded to Grunberg initially. And then I've got one over here in Needling, which I think I've upgraded. That one's not expanded yet. Or in fact, no, expanded once to Krugenheim. Because I only took this one, and then as soon as I took that, I got given a cultist, and the cultist I put under workbad. So I basically got the entire province with enough spaces in to build the buildings I wanted. And it is so much fun. It really is. It gives you so much control. You can play at your own pace. You can be really aggressive from the start if you want to, or you can do what I did and just sit in a corner, build up your money, and then recruit the army you want. But you can do it really quickly. Like, for most factions, you won't be getting endgame units on turn 41. Not even close. So you can take your time and play it however you want, and this is just... It's also good for players who are currently playing the game and say want to try a harder difficulty. So if you're playing normal and want to jump into hard, or if you're playing hard and you want to jump into very hard, you could use this to try it, so you can feel it out and see how you feel about the battles and stuff. But so easy to play, so much fun, strong armies. It's good. For your second and third armies as well, whether you choose to have a Chaos Sorcerer Lord, so you can have the Chaos Sorcerer Lord or the Herald of Tzeentch, who you can eventually upgrade into an exalted Lord of Change if you want to. Obviously, because they're both spellcasters, you don't need really any heroes in your army. So you're having your Lord basically plus 19 units. You could put the odd one in if you want, like example this Sorcerer's got a good one here. Barrier Punishment Rate plus 15% Heroes Army. And I'm pretty sure the Cultist has got something similar. But it's if you think you really need it. And bear in mind that these Chaos Sorcerer Lords don't have access to a Chaos Dragon. They've only got a disc. But having too many Sorcerers in an army isn't going to work with your Winds of Magic. Also bear in mind that this is not a Warriors of Chaos faction. This is Tzeentch. So if your Winds of Magic is 80 or higher, you get 4% more campaign movement range and 8% barrier replenishment rate. Down here, if you go below, if it's 34 or below, you lose 5% cash replenishment, 5 leadership and 10% physical. Which obviously if you're playing demons, that's not very good. Because demons then become half as durable as they were, and they're already not very durable to begin with. Which is why, don't play demons. Don't play demons at all. The only demon you should have if you're going to have one is a Lord. That's it. You don't need any other demons in your army. Have them all as mortals, they're better units. And with barrier, can be brokenly efficient. Like disgustingly so. You can leave battles and not take any casualties. And I do mean any casualties. They are so much fun. You've got your changing of your ways still. You can unlock them as you go. You've got your schemes, which is his main little thing. In every single scheme area will be one like this, where you can lift the shroud so you can see all the settlements in the area. It won't remove the fog of war, but you can see where the settlements are. So like I can't see armies and heroes running around over here, but I can see the settlements and who owns them. And if they change ownership, you can see that too. As I said, there's one that's kind of broken in some way. I don't know which one it were. Weren't that one? Ooh, the chainsword. You can get Doom Rockets as well from Skaven. So if you want 3 Skaven nukes to use, that's something you can get. That's pretty fucking nice. I'm not gonna lie. Von Carstein Blade. Ooh. Dirty. So you can get that upgraded multiple times. That's quite interesting. So see, there's this one here. Rampant Plunderer. Income from sacking plus 25%. Now, I'm not sure if it's a bug or if it's just something that the Changeling himself can't do. But whenever I take a settlement, I haven't got the option to sack. So that's a thing there that can be a bit weird. And in terms of military buildings, like, don't build them all in one. Like, I've got 2 here. I've got 1 here. I've got 1 here. These buildings that can spread the Trickster Cult, you don't need those indefinitely. So if you need to get rid of them and build something else, you can always build this building. Because it lowers your discoverability still. Gives you an increase in Winds of Magic strength from the Changing, and then diplomatic relations increase with the owner over time. Or there's that one there, but that would cost you some upkeep as well. So you have 2 options there that you could build in place of those, because once you've got cults all around you, the building basically becomes useless. There's no point having it really. Only thing it gives you then is the discoverability reduction. And then you're just giving the owner of that particular... sorry, not that one. This one. Yeah, that's just costing you maintenance. It's actually not decreasing discoverability, it's increasing it. So once you can't expand it anywhere, these become basically useless. So you're better off destroying them and building something else in their place. So, but it's... Oh, I've had so much fun with this campaign, and it's unique in its campaign. Every other campaign you play, every single one in the game, you can be destroyed. Now, some of them are really strong factions in good starting locations, like your High Elves and Orthwan, stuff like that. Your Beastmen, obviously, as I said, you can go hidden encampment and you can run off and hide somewhere. You can be quite hard to find in that, and once you've got multiple herds running around, you're definitely a lot harder to destroy. So, there are factions that are really strong and hard to get rid of, but they can all be destroyed. This one can't be destroyed. So it adds a level of security that you've never had before in the game, which I think is really good for newer players. And I think they need to do this for a good guy faction as well. Because not everybody wants to play bad guys. Some people might just play the good guy factions. I play both, but I do have a preference for the bad guys because a lot of them fit more into my melee theme. I don't like playing ranged armies. Ranged armies are a bit boring to me, sitting back and just firing. But one of the ones I think they could do it with, if they want to add in this for a good guy faction, they could add in Joseph Bugman as a legendary lord, as opposed to a legendary hero, and they could have it where he goes around, and when he attacks a town or a city, he builds like a dwarven undercity encampment. So it's, rather than it being the city itself, it's underneath the city, and they've like ruined it up with runes of invisibility. So basically, to anyone looking at it, just looks like basically like a rock wall. And the dwarves could do it and have the same functionality the changelings got. So they could kind of have that feat, but while having his own unique sort of tech tree and stuff for the dwarves. That'd be for the good guys to have it. It'd be quite good, I think. And I think that'd go down well with a lot of people, because then you can play both. And that might even bring me back to playing dwarves, especially if they get rid of the fucking non-grudge mechanic, because that mechanic is just frustrating as hell. This guy has got nothing frustrating. And you can always check as well, although I will let you know when your cult buildings spread by the building, by your bird box building chain. When they do spread, you do not get them towards your total for your settlements. Because your first one you won't see it, you've just got to win 2 grand schemes. This one you've got to win 5 grand schemes and win the ultimate battle for the long victory. Obviously if you want to dominate the map you can do, but you've got to physically place your settlements under 272. But this will actually be achievable quite easily, because once you move into an area, you put an encampment under that. As long as it's not then raised by someone, you're invisible. You can just hide there. You're invisible. All you've got to make sure is that when you attack it, that there's not an army that might then come and walk into you along the path. So if you attack it, be careful on where you attack it from, which angle. So somebody else doesn't walk straight into you. So like if I attack Mordheim, I'll probably do it from this angle here, and then I'll retreat a bit back this way. You don't want to be on the main path, because that's where you're likely to have an army walk straight into you. But it's such a fun, relaxing campaign as well. You're not high stressed, you've not got the really difficult start a lot of factions have got. You can take it nice and easy. You can go aggressive as well, but you can still take it easy knowing that you can't be wiped out, even if you lose your army. So, as for disaster battles and disaster campaigns go, this guy will never actually have one. If you lose an army, you'll be like, okay, I lost an army, who gives a fuck? Recruit a new one. You can't be destroyed. Now, this doesn't mean C won't change it. Personally, I hope they don't change it, because that will then fuck this up. I like the way this is. It's unique in its regard and how it plays, and it gives new players an easy way into the game, where they can play with absolute confidence and not have to worry about being run down by the enemy. I mean, look at this as well. Because I was so weak, look at all the factions that declared war upon me. Because I only had my lord and 1 unit, all these kept basically threatening me for money, and I kept declining. What are they going to do? They can't find my settlements, I haven't got any. The cult's underneath the city or town itself. They can't find my armies, they're invisible. You've got the feeling of being a god, because they can't find you. They can't do anything to you. You have all the control in your hands. It's like having a satellite where you can see all the enemy troop movements and stuff, and you can just attack them if you want. I mean, it's even spread out to Evenheim, which for some reason fucking Scrag's got. Don't know why he's got this. So straight away I can go, oh, I'll have that. I'll have some money, and you know what? I can even go that, and then from there I can spread it to the Moot, Grenstad, Steingart, Fiefeldorf, and Wissenberg, I think, potentially. Yep, and Wissenberg. So I can spread that to all of those, that one building. It's so easy, so fun to play. So I hope this has helped some of you guys out. If I've missed anything or you've got any questions, leave me a comment down below in the comment section and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Your tech tree looks overwhelming, but believe me, it's not. Just make sure, obviously, recruit these two, and then everything's basically open to you. You'll get these book supplies in no time. I've recruited these ones over here because it's like Lord, some replenishment and global recruitment, experience for your guys, more of cash replenishment local thingy, and then that reduces the cost of your teleport stance, so you can basically like underway, essentially. So you're pretty good in the mountains as well. You've got some buffs over here for some units. These are like some passive ones you've got here. These end ones just benefit the loads of change, which, and that one there, which I don't give a shit about. I don't want loads of change in my army. And then you've got these rifts, which I'm not entirely sure what these are yet. I haven't got into that before, but I'm guessing they operate like a portal like Balakor has, I'm assuming. But I don't know for certain. I've got more fun to have with it myself. But have fun with this, guys. Really do. It is a really, really fun campaign. And as I said, at present, it is unique in the way that it works. And I think it's a really good idea for anyone new to the game or is inexperienced and wants to try and get better at the game. Play this campaign and you can have loads of fun without any fear of being jumped upon and pressed too hard by the AI because they can't find you. Go have fun. Go be the Changeling. Cause mayhem, cause menace. You can be a spellcaster, you can be a melee fighter. Me, for mine, for some reason I got Village in this one. I got unlucky in my own way, but you know, you can always start the campaign if you don't like the choice that you get given. Restart it. See what else you got. And if you like the video, leave a like. If you're new around here, please drop a sub. I'm trying to get on the YouTube partner program. I need 1,000 subs to get there. If you guys could help me, I'd really appreciate it. Take care, everyone. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next video.